welcome to Journey to Joy Live. I'm your host, Dr. Enjoy, and I have my lovely friend here, Dr. Angela Andrews. You want to
Hi.
introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Dr. Angela Andrews, also known as the Lifestyle MD. That's my podcast. I am also a primary care doctor, lifestyle medicine specialist, internist, and pediatrician. And let's not forget a wife and a mother.
Yes, I'm glad you said internist and pediatrician because I was going to say, let's not forget you are double boarded. You actually did the double boarded and stayed. I did triple board and I said, no, I'm done. And I transferred into general psychiatry. And then, so technically, we're both double boarded because I did adult
Yes,
psych
yes,
and child
yes,
psych.
yes.
But you, that's some big stuff right there. So I applaud you for that. And then, of course, wife
Thank
and
you.
mother.
Thank you.
So speaking of being a wife and a mother,
hmm
how do you juggle being a double boarded physician, being a podcaster, and then also doing everything you have to do at home?
Not always well, but I've definitely learned some hacks along the way, so to speak. At the end of the day, it comes down to prioritizing. Letting go of perfection was the key to being able to do all of those things and deciding what things I wanted to put more energy into. And for me, my number one priorities is my family.
Hmm.
And so if I am going to sacrifice anything, sorry, patients, sorry, clients, not sorry, my family comes first.
Yeah.
So
That's that self-care. We got to get that self-care in. And you're big on
exactly.
fitness. This
hmm
week's topic is New Year, New Joy, New Year, New You, New Me, whatever, how we want to say it. Some people like the New Year's resolution, some people don't. This is our second weekend. So, a lot of people hit the gyms hard or hit their list hard or whatever it is they want to do the first week and then they fall off right away. But,
hmm
we're here to talk about, our mental wellness journey, whether that includes a fitness journey or what your goals are, but how we can really juggle that while also realizing that life hits us and it's like, well, how do we incorporate this new thing? Because it's not our new habit. But really, real quick, tell us more about the Lifestyle MD and what you do with that. And then we'll kind of jump
So
into it.
yeah, so no problem. So I am also certified in lifestyle medicine, and for the Lifestyle MD,
Mm.
it's primarily my platform for coaching, specifically women physicians, women professionals around health and wellness. And when I talk about health, I'm talking about mental health, physical health, spiritual health, relational health, because most people are coming to me looking to get more fit, right? And to whether it's lose weight, build muscle, and like most people, they don't understand that the foundation of that is making sure that you have well being and wellness and
Mhm.
all those other aspects of your life first. Because you could be hitting it hard at the gym and not making progress because
Mhm.
maybe your stress is too high, or you're not sleeping well, or you're not eating well,
Mm.
whatever that might be. So yeah, and so like I went with Lifestyle MD because really my goal is to help women create a lifestyle, which is what I've done for myself. It's not a thing that I do, it is a way that I exist.
Right. And it's not something you do for a short term time when you hit that goal of the loss of 20 pounds and then you go back to whatever it is you were before you lost the 20 pounds. So it's a lifestyle. I like that. It's something that you can keep throughout life. I love it. I love it.
Right. And what I like to tell people is I want you to help you achieve your fitness goals indefinitely. A lot of people set a goal, achieve the goal, fall back, set a goal, achieve a goal, fall back. I want you to continuously improve and strive towards improvement, not necessarily striving for perfection, but striving for continuous improvement.
Exactly. I was just doing a Peloton workout because I love Peloton. And Alex Toussaint was saying consistency and persistence. So
Yes.
consistency gets us there and persistence keeps us there. I might be saying it backwards. Either way, those two words are very important if you
Either
want
way
to reach
sounds
your
good.
goal and stay there. Exactly. And I'm always seeing you on social media getting your workouts in ever since like 20 years ago. And by the way, we met in medical school.
Yes.
So, yeah. Oh, about 10 years ago. I'm thinking it's more than that. I graduated 10 years ago from med school.
Was it no.
2013. Oh, well,
I
11
guess
years at this point. But
okay.
we
All right.
met about 15, 14 years ago.
Yeah, prior to that, we
Yeah.
were both in college doing something else.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I think Anyway, I think we go back even further. So
Wow, time, the way
yeah, I'm pretty
time.
sure. Yeah, I know it's unreal, but yes, long time. But yeah, I've been on into fitness for a very long time. I didn't always start off healthy and fit. I when I went to college and when I graduated from college, there was this period of my life where I didn't know how to cook because I didn't want to learn how to cook. So that wasn't anything that was in my, you know, skill set. I didn't exercise regularly. I was just a student and I never really had, developed the lifestyle and the skills and the habits to do things like exercise and eat well. So once I got into the busy adult life, I started put on the weight and my cholesterol numbers got out of control. And I was
Mm,
starting to go down that path that I saw so many people in my family
mhm.
slide down. And a lot of people in our community, and especially among people of color, falling into these habits of things that we
Yeah.
just learned and carry forward for too long. So I was very at some point it hit me. I think I went to my primary care doctor and got blood work done and I saw that my cholesterol was high and she was saying that she wanted me to
Mm,
go on cholesterol medicine and I said, I'm in
mm.
my 20s, no.
Wow, exactly. It's like, what?
Yeah, so that was really kind of the beginning of it for me. So that was right after I graduated from college.
That's awesome. It's usually something like that that'll do it for you. It may not be a
Right.
rock bottom, but you have to take this medication with these side effects that can create
Hmm.
other issues with your body. Then it's like, oh, but let me just exercise. So
Right.
that's great. How do you maintain it? Like, has there been ups and downs? Because I remember you doing a competition at one point. So you really hit it hard.
Yeah, so I've had numerous ups and downs in my career as a fitness person and as a professional. So as I started with running, so I was a marathoner, and then I decided to dial back,
Mhm.
get more into 5Ks, and then I started doing CrossFit, and then I decided to embark on a bodybuilding competition. So I've done a total of four bodybuilding competitions at this point. Two
Wow.
in, yeah, so two in bikini and two in figure. And
Wow.
the two in bikini were during residency, and the two in figure were during the pandemic. So it was being able to do all those things. The interesting thing about bodybuilding is that there's
Mhm.
no such thing as balance in bodybuilding.
Mhm.
Bodybuilding is not the pinnacle of fitness. um, it is anything but balanced. So
Yeah.
I hesitate whenever I talk to people. I hesitate to use that as an example of what it means to be fit. To me, it's more an example of what it means to be persistent and
Mm,
consistent.
mm.
As you were saying, in striving toward those goals. Because that was a goal I had set for 20 years prior. And I made the goal and I committed to the goal. I completed the goal and I moved forward. And I ended up winning first place and taking my pro card in my last bodybuilding show.
Congrats. Wow.
So yeah, and so while I was hitting it hard and looked fit, that wasn't the epitome and pinnacle of fitness.
Mhm,
That was
mhm,
really the pinnacle of dedication.
mhm.
So, and I can elaborate on what that really means, if you like. But
Yeah.
I did have a rock bottom moment. It was right after that competition,
Oh.
and and that served as the foundation of the principles of my lifestyle MD coaching and what I tell a lot of my clients and my
Mhm,
patients.
mhm.
As I was saying, bodybuilding is not the pinnacle of fitness. You have to be very strict in your eating. You have to
Yeah.
exercise an obscene amount. And then, I mean, the 6 months, 7 months, 9 months leading up to it's not so difficult or so bad. I mean, you're consuming you're assuming certain foods and limiting your diet. And then when you're very close to the competition, 8 weeks out, 6 weeks out, 4 weeks out, you are dialing things in and there's no socializing and going out to eat with friends.
Mm.
You're just so focused on that goal because doing that I mean I would do those things, but I would always bring my food with me, going
Yeah.
to family
You have to eat
gatherings
certain
for like a
stuff.
year. Yeah, I was always carrying my food, so you don't have to isolate, but it just gets more challenging. So And then I was, when I got down to my leanest body fat percentage, I mean, just the amount of food that I was eating was so small
Yeah.
that week leading up to it. So like what you look like on the day of competition is not sustainable, and it shouldn't be sustained because it's not healthy.
Yeah.
That's you're leaning out for the purposes of what it looks like on stage. The best part about that was all the preparation the 6 months before,
Mm-hmm.
and people don't really see that.
Mm-hmm.
They just see what shows up on stage, and
Correct.
it's all that really lays the foundation for what I try to teach
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. The consistency.
Hmm.
Wow, that sounds really hard. And what makes you the ideal coach for what you do is the fact that you know one side where your cholesterol's high, you're eating whatever the heck you want, and then you know the most extreme side where you're extremely strict and having the
Yeah.
leanest body fat. That's really cool. So, as far as that whole spectrum, where do you feel like you are now? And is that where you like to be?
I feel like in my probably the healthiest state I've been in potentially ever. So I just turned 43, 44. Gosh, how old am I? What
Ooh,
year is this? 24,
34?
43, 20. I don't remember. I'm somewhere between 43 and 44.
One of the ages. You're in your early 40s.
I'm in my early 40s. And
So-
after my last bodybuilding competition, my gut stopped working. I had like 2 years of the worst health I've ever experienced. I fell into despair, depression. I couldn't work out
Mm.
because I couldn't eat. No one, I saw specialist after specialist, could not figure out what was going on. Literally, I mean, TMI, but I had pretty severe constipation where, and
Mm.
and I say constipation, but that doesn't. I had gut dysmotility, like my bowels
Mm.
literally had stopped moving,
Yeah.
and I effectively had an ileus, but and that went on for a while. I ended up being hospitalized a couple different
Oh.
times. Yeah, and I had tons of studies done,
Mm.
GI studies and whatnot, and no answer for what the cause was.
Oh.
It was accompanied by migraines. Was a pretty profound thing. It was very dehydrated a lot because I couldn't even so much as drink liquids. Things would just come back up. I took a leave of absence from work because
Yeah.
here's the crazy thing. Despite the fact that I went from my most fittest, most physique self immediately, almost like literally within 24 hours on the downward slide to the worst health condition I've ever experienced in my life.
Wow.
To
Wow.
the point where people that were near me and saw me on a regular daily basis were fearful that something really bad was happening to me and we
Mm.
would never find out.
Mm.
And when I decided, I woke up one morning and went to call my office manager and I said, I need to take a leave of absence because if I don't, I'm not going to make it. I just can't
Mhm.
keep pushing myself like this. I don't have anything in me, literally, and I keep waking up, going to work, and taking care of people every day, and coming home and going
Wow.
right back to bed because I
Wow.
can't do anything else.
That says a lot about us professionals, how when we're
Hmm.
caring for others, we just go and continue caring for them and not caring for ourselves. So good for you for
Hmm.
taking that leave of absence. How long did you have to take?
I took 3 months. I waited way too long to take the leave of absence in the first place. I had patients asking me, "Are you okay, Dr. Andrews?" And even to
Oh,
this day, 2 years now removed or more removed from that, patients are like, "You're like, I'm glad you're doing better. How are you doing? You look like you're
wow,
doing so much better." I mean, I looked
wow.
like death. So that was my rock bottom moment, and it was in
Right.
that I realized again, I've been doing all the right things. I ate well. I exercised on a regular basis. I had a great job, so to speak. And yet, despite doing those things, it wasn't enough. It's because there were other aspects that were missing.
So do you know now what it was for? Was it that it was too extreme to do the competition? But that doesn't happen to everybody who does competitions.
It does not happen to everyone who does
Yeah.
competition. I think it was a perfect storm. So it was
Mm.
during COVID, and it's
Mm.
a very stressful time. It was stressful as a physician. It was stressful as a parent because kids couldn't be in school and daycare. It was stressful in our household because, and among our family members because everyone had different competing points of views. It was stressful in my body because I was training aggressively. So the amount of cortisol coursing through my veins, if I could have measured it at that time, was probably off the charts.
Right.
Had I competed at any other time, I'm fairly certain I would not have had the same outcome in terms of
Mm.
my health.
When there's not that much stress.
Um, when there's not that much stress. And so that's one of the most important lessons that I like try to convey to people is that you you can't expect a lot from your body when you're stressed, when your
Mhm.
cortisol is high. Stress is a huge killer. It is extremely detrimental. And I don't care how many things you're doing, quote, right. If your stress is off the charts, it's not going to matter.
Detrimental physically and mentally, because you did
Mentally.
mention feeling depressed as well.
Yeah, and a lot of that stemmed from the fact that my normal outlets, I couldn't exercise, and I literally couldn't eat. I had gotten, there were, for some people, some people might tongue in cheek say, oh, that must be nice that you don't really feel like you're hungry, and literally would bring tears to my eyes. I'm like, you don't understand
Mm.
how much I would love
You would
to
want
be
to
able
eat.
to eat
Yeah.
when you can't eat and you can't exercise and all you can do is sleep. There's not a whole lot left.
And not working. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it just was very challenging. So that was a huge wake up call again about prioritizing what's important, and taking time for myself.
Hmm.
And so it was at that point that I then made the decision that I was ultimately going to end up resigning from my job and starting my own practice.
Nice.
And I was going to reframe my focus on how I spent my time. And even before that, I mean, and it would still be another 6 months to a year, maybe a year after that, before I would ultimately resign. But I put up better boundaries
Hmm.
around my work life, and I
Boundaries.
started reinforcing those, and that was huge. Yes, boundaries are key. No, boundaries are a critical part of self care, and that's something else I talk to people about as well.
Yeah. So without telling people what is in your coaching package, because I still want people to go to you and pay for that. What would
Mm-hmm.
you recommend? Because it seems like you jumped out of that, you got out of it. You're obviously in the best state of your life, is what you mentioned, hopefully
Mm-hmm.
mentally and physically.
Mm-hmm.
And you're out here coaching and teaching others who are either doctors or professionals. And there's a lot of Black females out here trying to live our best lives and try to figure out
Mm-hmm.
how we can incorporate self-care and a good fitness goal. What can you tell others without, telling everything about how you coach people?
Yeah. Yeah, so I've basically there's a triangular framework to my training program, and the foundation of that starts with your mindset. And within
Hmm.
that, I want people to identify what their priorities are and what their values are. A lot of times, I find that people are not spending their time and exerting their energy in ways that are in alignment with their
Hmm.
values and with their priorities. So once people have taken that time, if they haven't already done that at some point in their life, then I want them to kind of like do a self-assessment. How am I spending my time on a day-to-day basis? Is it in alignment with these things? And if it's not, let's correct that.
Hmm.
Because if you are not, in effect, working in your purpose or working towards your purpose on a day-to-day basis, and you're being sucked and drained in other ways, you don't have
Yeah,
anything left to give yourself because it
exactly.
is emotionally and psychologically draining when you are not pouring into your purpose-driven um, priorities.
You get that
So
burnout.
you get that burnout very quickly. So I have them kind of start there, and then I take it to the next level, which is all right. Let's talk about the relationships, and the other structures in your life. So whether it is often it's with spouse, it's with
Mhm.
children, it's with immediate family that might be involved in your life, and then work. How are those different domains impacting you, and are there some boundaries
Mhm.
that put in place? Are there some things that you need to request or engage in any of these individuals, whether it's taking some things off of your plate or
Yeah.
not doing things that you've been doing for a long time that maybe you shouldn't be doing,
Correct.
so that you can free up some energy and time for yourself to pour into some of your health and wellness needs.
That's
And then
important
we
because
get it.
people say they don't have
Mhm,
time. That's what it boils
mhm,
down to. Sorry, go ahead.
mhm. No, that's okay. No, I'm glad you emphasized that. On my coaching call, 2 coaching calls ago with one of my clients, she always talks about not having enough time. Everyone talks about not having enough time.
You do.
And my one of my favorite go-to phrase that I tell people is that if you don't have enough time, that means you're doing too much.
Yep. Yep.
So
That's
what's
it.
got to go? What's got to go? And those are I mean, that is in that first chunk of my program is what are you doing and what can we take away? Because
Mhm.
you can't do it all. You literally can't do it all.
Right.
And so what are you going to do at the end when this life is said and done? What do you want to have accomplished? What's going to have meaning? And and by the way, you can't be good at anything if you're not well.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, it all boils down to our relationships and our family and not our jobs. Like someone told me,
No, not
you
at
are
all.
replaceable at work, but you're not replaceable in your family.
Yes,
Yeah,
amen to that. And that's really that was my epiphany, is the realization that, I could take time off of work and people will ultimately be fine, but my family can't be without me.
nope, nope.
And most people will find that they will, nope, not at all. They will align, they may put things in their priorities or in their values, like work and like
Mhm.
success, whatever that means for them, or certain achievements. But I like to challenge people to think about, how are you fulfilling your needs of your family? How are you fulfilling the needs of your relationships around you? Because those are things that are going to sustain you forever.
Mhm. That's really awesome.
Yeah, and so a lot of people don't. My clients don't anticipate me going there with them, and that makes up the bulk of the first part of what we're doing, because I can't. I'm not going to give you a diet plan to start off with, and I'm not going to give you an exercise plan,
Right.
um, because if you don't have time, or someone else is you don't have adequate boundaries in place, or someone else is demanding more of you than you can give, you're never going to be able to do those things.
Mhm, mhm. That's right.
It's just not going to happen. So we're making room in your life.
You're reframing their mind and yeah,
Yes,
and schedule.
yes. Yes, exactly. And that's what it comes down to. Is then reframe. Helping them reframe their lifestyle, around and reframe it in a way that allows them to have a sustainable, healthy lifestyle long term.
Exactly. Well, that's an awesome program, Dr. Andrews. So
Thank you.
before we started recording, you were saying how you hate New Year's resolutions. And since this is a
Yes.
new year, we're talking about new year, new joy. Say why you don't like New Year's resolutions and what we really should be focusing on.
Yeah. So I don't like New Year's resolutions. Well, for one, because they come with a little bit of baggage. People make a
Hmm.
resolution, and it's a thing, some big audacious thing that I'm going to do this year. I'm going, and then that's it. It's just an announcement. There's no planning. Maybe there's no planning behind it, and you just resolving to do something. What I would like people to do is have, well, I'll tell you what our family does.
Okay.
And what
Yeah.
we do is we sit down, my husband and I sit down at the beginning of the year,
Uh-huh.
and nice little binder that we write down our family goals for
Hmm.
2024, for instance. And we have our personal goals for 2024. We have our financial goals. And so a resolution alone is not
Right.
sufficient. If you have a resolution, that doesn't tell you how you're going to get there, right? So popular resolution is to lose weight. Okay, well, how are you going to do that?
Yeah. What's
And
the
there's much
plan?
more to it. What's the plan? There's much more to it. So like a resolution is too simple in my mind. It avoids the hard work
Hmm.
that needs to go into actually making those
Typical.
things
Yeah.
successful. That's why a lot of people end up sort of failing in achieving their resolutions, because they don't have any meat behind it. They don't have any real teeth in it. So what
Yeah.
I would recommend, instead of having a resolution, is this, you can maybe call it, have a goal with a plan, or,
Yeah.
or take something that you worked on last year and refine it. Talk about what you did last year, what you want to improve. How do you want to improve on that this year,
What
instead of
worked? What
something
didn't work?
entirely brand new? Right, exactly. Instead of something entirely new, continuously improve on what you've already been working on.
Yeah.
So work towards that improvement. So when people try to reach for something that is too grand, and
Yeah,
if they can't see what that looks like in the future, it's hard for them to get there. So
exactly.
make it something that you can actually achieve, something a stepping stone, so to speak.
At least break it down into short-term goals if
Yes.
it's kind of a
Sure.
long term.
Yes.
But what I like what you're saying is basically categorizing it. So, like, what are your health goals, spiritual goals, financial goals, family goals, personal goals, couples goals, or relationship goals? So,
Exactly.
yeah, it's different ones. And maybe, that's already a lot of categories. So, maybe one goal per category or whatever works, but something doable. Because we look back at the
Right.
year and we say, oh, I was supposed to get out of debt. I was supposed to get 800 on my credit score, like these
Mm-hmm.
things that may have not have been attainable in a year. Like maybe you can do that in two
Right.
years. But what are you going to do? Are you going to sign up for Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University? Like, is that what you're going to
Right.
do for your financial goals?
Right.
So it's a matter of what those stepping stones are.
So
Yeah.
be tactile. Yeah. So like you said, if your goal is I'm going to get healthy for 2024, then maybe instead of saying get healthy for 2024, say I'm going to reduce my intake of sugar or I'm going to kick my Coke habit. A lot of
Hmm.
people I have a client who just loves drinking Coke, and that has been hard.
That in and of
Actually
itself
both
can help a lot.
actually both of my clients love drinking Coke, and I'm like, no more Coke. No more Coke.
Yeah, because that's a lot of sugar. Just drinking water. If you are a
Yes.
Coke drinker, pop, soda, whatever, just cutting that out
Yes.
saves you a lot. That's true. Because
Yes.
it's not just about fitness,
So
it's
in other
diet
words,
too.
no, no, it's diet. So in other words, make it a SMART goal, right?
Hmm.
Make it, make it measurable, make it
Hmm.
attainable, make it time restricted. What's the other one? There's an R. What does the R stand
Oh,
for?
you're doing the SMART goals? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Mm-hmm.
right. I gotta pull it up.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead
I
and
know
pull
what
it
you're
up?
talking about. Yeah.
But I think it's a great strategy for making goals that are actually attainable. And goals must be attainable
Yeah.
because what happens if you set a goal and you don't achieve it?
Then you're regret it, you're stressed out, you feel like I can't do it because that perfectionist mindset kicks in.
And
But
then you say,
realistic is the R. Is that what was the
oh,
R? So
realistic. Yes,
specific,
that's the R.
measurable, attainable, realistic, timely. And Dave Ramsey uses
Yes.
that as far as our financial goals.
Yes, and because it applies to every type of goal possible. And even though I listed all those different kind of categories, you certainly don't have to go through all of them. What you might want to do is say, figure out what is the area that you need to focus on as a person
Mhm.
this year. What is the area you want to put the most energy and effort into? And if it's your health, then make it a SMART goal around health.
Yeah.
And then and so, if it's time restricted and you have it bound, maybe you'll achieve that goal. Then you set a next goal in 3 months. It
Mhm.
doesn't have to be one time a year.
Yeah, it can change. Exactly. And
Hmm.
keep it going. Maybe it goes into the next year, and that's all right. Just thinking about what works for you. That is awesome.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Andrews. So I ask everyone about joy, their journey to joy, because Dr. Andrews, you are on the Journey to Joy Live podcast. So what does your journey to joy look like? Do you feel like you're on a journey towards joy? What's that mean to you?
Oh, 100%. That journey towards joy is getting back, I hate to say this, but getting back time. And getting back time means I'm using my time in a way that is going to be the most fruitful for my spirit and the most fruitful for my family.
Mhm.
So since resigning and becoming an entrepreneur, starting my own practice, I feel so empowered, and not only for myself, but I'm excited and filled with joy for what I'm going to be able to do for my patients that I'm going to
Mhm.
see, because they're going to get the best version of me, even better version of me than they thought they had before. It's going to be great. I'm so excited.
Yay. So putting yourself first, self-care, wellness, with fitness, all that so you can be there for others, professionally and
Hmm.
personally. Love it. So where can people find you?
So you can find me on social media at Angela Lifestyle MD. That's on Instagram. You can find my website for my practice at seedsofhealthdpc.com. I also have an Instagram handle for that, which is Seeds of Health. I think it's Seeds of Health DPC for Instagram as well. So, yep, those are the places you find me. I also have a podcast, which is The Lifestyle MD, and it's available on all of the podcast platforms.
Hey, so you're in a lot of places. And basically, you coach people anywhere, no matter what the state?
Yeah, so virtual coaching, I primarily focused on women, women professionals, women doctors, special interest in women of color. And if you are interested in coaching, you can reach out to me at my email address also, which is angelalifestylemd@gmail.com. And it's weekly coaching. If you want to hear more about it, I'm happy to set up a discovery call.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Andrews. And thank you, everyone, for watching episode 28 of Journey to Joy Live.